the series, if life was just easy of making bounties, making money, walking away, it's only a job, we wouldn't have episodes 2 through 8. You know,
we'd only have 6.
Exactly right. You know, we wouldn't have these, you know, we wouldn't have them because life is a challenge. Everything you do is challenging. It's just a lot easier because you've done it time after time. There may come a challenge in life where it's something you may not come across. Good or bad or indifferent, you have to make a choice.
I hear you.
Does that make you a bad person because you made one bad choice? No.
Right. Exactly.
You know, does it make you the bad person? Not at all. You know, it's, do you make consistently bad choices? Does that make you a bad person? No, it just means you haven't learned. And that's what life is about, and life is learning. And this is what Mando has done all through his Mandalorian career, is learn. And what we're seeing is him learning. And what we're learning is, like you said, what's bad is good, and I'm saying what's good is good. So he's learning more about himself, and we're learning more about him through these 8 episodes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what are your final thoughts, I guess, on the series as a whole, other than what you just said, because that was a pretty good synopsis in and of itself, but if you were going to elaborate a little bit on the series, not necessarily just the episode, but the whole series.
For an episode, for a series, I believe, look, this is an individual that we now know is a race, but at first we knew, at first people thought it was a bounty hunter or whatever the case may be, but this is something that hasn't been explored in Star Wars. This is a very original idea, and the way it was put together, I think, was very well done. We do have some series out there that are based on other things, Better Call Saul, based on Breaking Bad. All these other spin-offs, if you would say, are always based on the one particular thing. The only thing that ties Mandalorian to anything is the title Star Wars. But we don't know anything about him. We don't know anything about them, excuse me. So, as a standalone, I think it's a great idea. I think it's an awesome idea. I think it was very well written, very well put. The scenes, the dialogue, the scripts, I think it was very well done. And I'm looking forward to season 2.
So my thing is, I'd like to correct you on one thing. They're not a race; they're a religion.
I apologize.
So, yeah, I mean, we've been saying race for so long now that it's going to be hard to break the habit, but they wanted us to know that they're not a race. They made sure of it in the last episode. And but I think this is a great start to a great series. And like I said, it felt like to me this was like a half season because it was a test, kind of like what they did with Walking Dead when they did like the really short first season or whatever. But I never liked that show. Anyway, but I think this was a great start, and I think a lot of this was I think the main narrative of this whole season was, do individual choices define you as a person? And the reason I say that is we had the fighting where she was a shock trooper, she was an ex-shock trooper, so does that really define who she is? Probably not. The Ugnaught worked for the Empire. Does that define who he is? No, because he was forced into it. Mando was running with smugglers and stuff. Does that define who he is? No, because we see later on that doesn't. That he's changed and he has the ability to change, and we all have the ability to change. More importantly, we see that he does, despite what we believed early on, he does hand over Baby Yoda, but his conscience gets the best of him when he doesn't know what's going to happen to the baby, and he goes back for him. He doesn't kill the one guy who said, I was just protecting him. Don't kill me, please don't hurt him. And it's just a baby. So we see that a single decision doesn't define you as a being, And I am interested in, are all Mandalorian done? Does the religion continue after this? Does it die out? Like, we don't see them in... I haven't seen the newest Star Wars movies, but we didn't see them in 7 and 8, right? There was no Mandalorians in 7 and 8. So do they just die out and he's the last of their kind? Or is there a ton off-world so that we still have the religion? We don't know yet. So I'm interested to see where that goes. And, speaking of the scene where he says, don't hurt him, he's just a baby. They had a massive editing error in that scene. The doctor first calls Baby Yoda a she, then refers to Baby Yoda as a he the rest of the way through that scene. So we're not even sure if it's male or female at this point. I think the she was an accident or just a jumble of words that I'm hearing is she. And, I'm really looking forward to I guess it's fall of 2020, right? They said. So I'm really looking forward to the fall because I can't wait to see where Baby Yoda's story goes, where Mando's story goes, where the Mandalorian story goes. Now we have 3 plots that they can jump in and out of episode to episode to really give us a full view of what they've already built upon here.
I agree. I'm gonna say if I had 2 words for this season would be conflict and development. That would basically describe what this season was for me after watching it for 8 episodes. Conflict and development. But like you, I'm looking forward to fall 2020. There's so many branches on this tree now that you can actually make a B plot story. And maybe drift away from the A plot for maybe a little more, maybe another one-off or 2 for the second season. So,
yeah, absolutely. But before we go, we have a great offer for you. Cuts by Magic is offering all our listeners a 10% discount for any custom order with code MANDO. Contact Cuts by Magic by searching Facebook for Cuts by Magic, CUTS space BY space MAGIC. Message the page and tell them Mando, and you'll receive a 10% discount for new and returning customers.
Please join us on the UFP Facebook page. We want to know what you're thinking. What's your thoughts on Mandalorian? What's your thoughts on the whole season? Pick an episode. Which one of your episodes were favorites? Let us know. Join us on the Facebook page and entice a discussion. We love to hear it. So, Magic, where can people find you when you're not waving around a lightsaber but looks like a vibro sword on top of a hill?
Well, when I'm not doing that, they can find me in a TIE Fighter doing that. No. They can find me on Twitter at MagicDrop5. That's no spaces, and the 5 is a digit. You can also find me on Twitch under the same handle. I will be playing games such as Age of Empires 1, 2, and 3, World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, possibly Apex. I'm not sure yet. And when it finally releases, whenever that is, even though I paid for it like 6 months ago, Warcraft 3 Reforged. So, Tribz, where can people find you when you're not trying to find out if your religion still exists?
You know, I'm always trying to find that out, wandering the streets of Las Vegas, trying to find out who I am, going through conflict, wondering if I'm the bad guy or the good guy. But when I'm not doing that, you can find me on the web. You can find me on Twitter at TrekFanLV. The TF, L, and V are capital. You can find me in the Disney Aficionados page. You can find me in the UFP Facebook page. Please go to iTunes and leave us a star rating and written review. That'll help others find our podcast.
At this time, we would like to thank our executive producers who make this all possible. They are Brandon-Shea, Ken Tripp, Zach Moore, and Tony Robinson.
And after you've listened to this podcast, we hope you'll drop us a message and tell us how we're doing. Keep those mouse ears open for more Mickey's Marvels. And besides, who wouldn't want to be a kid again?
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.